annals of American history, World War II is often nostalgically remembered as the last good war, a beacon of moral clarity in a world torn apart by tyranny and oppression. This notion gained traction as subsequent conflicts like the Vietnam and Korea War lost public support. Now join us on a captivating journey to uncover the most remarkable, surprising, and incredible finds from the Second World War and discover the secrets, stories, and artifacts that continue to shape our understanding of this pivotal moment in history. Number 20, Musashi, steel titan of the Imperial Japanese Navy. In the late 1930s, a revolutionary battleship of the seas was born, Musashi, a colossus of a battleship named after the former Japanese province. As one of 4 Yamato-class Titans, Musashi boasted unprecedented scale and firepower. With a staggering displacement of nearly 72,000 long tons, this floating fortress was armed to the teeth with 9 460mm main guns, capable of unleashing hellish devastation upon the high seas. Its secondary arsenal consisted of 4 155mm triple-gun turrets, salvaged from the legendary Mogami-class cruisers, while 6 trusty float planes stood at the ready to scout out the enemy. On August 5, 1942, Musashi was formally commissioned at Nagasaki, joining the elite ranks of the 1st Battleship Division alongside its formidable siblings, Yamato, Nagato, and Mutsu. Over the course of 1944, this mighty vessel would embark on a series of clandestine missions, transferring troops and equipment between Japan and its far-flung island strongholds, ever vigilant and always ready to strike. However, Musashi's reign of power was cut short on October 24, 1944, during the Battle of Leyte Gulf. The behemoth battleship fell victim to an onslaught of 19 torpedoes and 17 bombs from American carrier-based aircraft, sending her to the depths of the Sibuyan Sea. Over half of her crew was rescued, but the Musashi was lost in the darkness of the ocean floor. For over 70 years, Musashi's final resting place remained a mystery, a secret kept by the sea. Many attempted to find her, but none succeeded. But Paul Allen, Microsoft co-founder and naval history enthusiast, was determined to uncover the truth. He sponsored a research team that spent 8 years scouring historical records across the globe, deploying cutting-edge technology. Finally, in March 2015, the team's persistence paid off. Aboard the high-tech yacht Octopus, the researchers used a remotely operated vehicle to explore the depths of the Sibuyan Sea. And then they found the Musashi, lying 3,000 feet beneath the surface, her massive hull a testament to the ingenuity and sacrifice of a bygone era. Number 19, the Nazi Eagle. The Nazi Eagle, also known as the Reichsadler, has become an infamous symbol of the Nazi Party since its adoption in 1923. Its image has also become a popular trend on clothing, tattoos, and accessories, despite its controversial history. So it's no surprise that a heated argument erupted after the discovery of a Nazi eagle in 2006. In February 2006, a Nazi eagle was recovered from the German battleship Admiral Graf Spee, which sank off Uruguay's coast during World War II. The Graf Spee was a battleship that terrorized Allied merchant ships in the South Atlantic before being damaged in the Battle of the River Plate. Its captain, determined to prevent capture, ordered the ship scuttled, sending it to the ocean floor. Yet the Nazi Eagle, weighing over 800 pounds, remained intact. As the Eagle was brought to the surface, controversy swirled around its fate. Uruguay's Supreme Court ruled in 2014 that the Eagle belongs to the Uruguayan state, with the salvage group entitled to 50% of the proceeds if sold, but the salvage group claimed a share of the profits. Some proposed exhibiting the Eagle to raise funds for the Uruguayan military, while others advocated for its sale. The fate of the Nazi Eagle remains uncertain, leaving it to the authorities to decide its future. Number 18, the Nazi Gold Reserve. The unearthing of the Merkers mine in 1945 is one of history's most astonishing treasure tales. Acting on intelligence tips, General Patton's Third Army uncovered a vast stash of loot, including gold, precious jewels, and irreplaceable art, hidden deep within salt caverns 200 miles southwest of Berlin. With dynamite and determination, The army blasted open the entrance, revealing a cavernous vault filled with the spoils of war. And what they found was breathtaking. 8,000 gold bars glinting in the dim light, 55 boxes of gold bullion stacked like treasure chests, and hundreds of bundles of foreign currency, much of which had been pillaged from museums and central banks across Europe. The thrill of discovering the hidden treasure in the Merkers mine was short-lived, as a darker truth emerged. The Nazis had also exploited the site to hoard gold, jewels, and personal belongings brutally seized from concentration camp victims. Racing against time, the American army swiftly extracted the treasure from the Soviet-designated zone before the Soviets arrived. After the war, the spoils were largely distributed among the tripartite Gold Commission, France, Britain, and the United States. Decades later, Holocaust survivors and their families continue to seek restitution for the millions of dollars worth of gold still stored at the Federal Reserve Bank in New York, a poignant reminder of the atrocities committed during the war. Number 17, the Amber Room. On June 22, 1941, Adolf Hitler unleashed Operation Barbarossa, a monumental invasion that thrust 3 million German soldiers into the heart of the Soviet Union. As the Nazi forces swept across the land, they left a trail of destruction and plunder in their wake, laying claim to tens of thousands of precious art treasures. Among the most coveted prizes was the resplendent Amber Room, a masterpiece of unparalleled beauty, which the Nazi erroneously believed was crafted by German hands and destined for German ownership. As the enemy forces closed in on Pushkin, a desperate bid to preserve the cultural heritage of the Catherine Palace ensued. Officials and curators raced against time to disassemble and conceal the Amber Room, hoping to protect it from the invaders. As the dry amber began to disintegrate, officials attempted a desperate camouflage, concealing the room behind a thin veil of wallpaper. However, this ruse failed to deceive the German soldiers, who swiftly dismantled the Amber Room within 36 hours, carefully packing its components into 27 crates bound for Königsberg, Germany. The room was meticulously reassembled in the Castle Museum on the Baltic coast, where it remained on display for 2 years under the watchful eye of director Alfred Rode, an amber enthusiast who studied its panel history. As the war's end loomed in late 1943, Rode was advised to disassemble the Amber Room once more. Tragically, Allied bombing raids in August 1944 reduced the city to rubble, leaving the Castle Museum in ruins and the Amber Room's fate a mystery. The disappearance of several tons of amber seems incredulous, sparking a decades-long quest for answers. Different theories were made. Some believe the crates were destroyed in the 1944 bombings, while others speculate that the amber remains hidden in Kaliningrad or lies at the bottom of the Baltic Sea, lost in the depths after being loaded onto a ship. A remarkable twist emerged in 1997 when an Italian stone mosaic, Feel and Touch, was discovered in Germany in the possession of a soldier's family who claimed he had played a role in dismantling the Amber Room. This serendipitous find proved to be a crucial piece of the puzzle, as the mosaic was one of 4 stones that had adorned the Amber Room. The Russian authorities took custody of the mosaic, and it became a vital component in the ongoing reconstruction efforts. In 1979, the Soviet government embarked on an ambitious project to recreate the Amber Room at Tsarskoye Selo, an endeavor that would span 24 years and require the expertise of 40 skilled craftsmen from Russia and Germany. This painstaking process finally came to fruition in 2003, with the completion of a stunning replica that would serve as a testament to the original's beauty and grandeur. Number 16, the Ghost Army. When we imagine war, we often envision rugged soldiers with heavy weaponry, battling fiercely on the front lines. But sometimes the most effective warriors aren't those with the biggest guns, but those with the sharpest minds. The Ghost Army is a U.S. Army tactical deception unit that played a pivotal role in World War II. This wasn't your typical battalion. Their artillery was purely for show, their tanks couldn't move an inch, and their members were more comfortable with paintbrushes and sound equipment than rifles. These 1,100 American artists, designers, and sound engineers executed masterful deceptions that completely misled Nazi Germany about the Allies' movements and strength. Handpicked for their intellectual prowess, with an average IQ of 119, these men used their creative talents to craft illusions so convincing that they altered the course of the war. Their story remained a closely guarded secret for more than 50 years after the war, finally being declassified in 1996. The Ghost Army's arsenal included inflatable decoys, fake radio transmissions, and loudspeakers broadcasting sound effects, allowing them to simulate a force 30 times larger than their actual numbers while operating as close as a quarter mile from the front lines. True to their name, the Ghost Army conducted their operations under the cover of night. Camouflage experts used gasoline-fueled air compressors to inflate rubber tanks, jeeps, trucks, artillery, and aircraft, which artists then meticulously painted to appear authentic enough to fool Nazi aerial reconnaissance. Radio specialists sent deceptive communications, even mimicking operators' unique styles to lend credibility to their false reports. Sound engineers played pre-recorded sounds of military drills and movements through enormous speakers, which could be heard up to 15 miles away in some instances. This combination of visual, auditory, and communication tricks allowed the Ghost Army to execute their deceptions with astonishing effectiveness. Number 15. The Lost Squadron. The deployment of drones marks a groundbreaking leap forward in the quest to locate aircraft lost in unforgiving and inaccessible regions, such as Greenland's vast ice expanses. It's a daunting task, considering that an aircraft can be entombed under hundreds of feet of ice. During World War II, the treacherous Snowball route across the North Atlantic to England claimed many victims as hundreds of U.S. planes made perilous stops in Greenland to refuel amidst fierce snowstorms. Tragically, about 10% of these planes crashed, and even rescue missions sometimes met the same fate. One such ill-fated aircraft was the Lockheed P-38 Lightning, a versatile fighter that excelled in various roles, including fighter bomber, night fighter, and long-range escort fighter, thanks to its adaptability in drop tanks. 70 years after its disappearance, a team from the fallen American MIA Repatriation Foundation employed cutting-edge technology and found one of the Lockheed P-38 Lightning fighters buried beneath hundreds of feet of ice on Greenland's east coast. This remarkable discovery sheds light on the Lost Squadron, a group of 8 aircraft, which was made up of 6 P-38 and 2 B-17s, that were forced to crash land in July 1942 due to treacherous weather while en route to Iceland. Although the crew members were rescued, the planes were left behind, gradually swallowed by the relentless ice and snow. Number 14, the Hiroshima Watch that stopped at 8:15. The time 8:15 a.m. holds more than symbolic significance. It represents a lasting legacy of suffering for the victims, their families, and descendants affected by the atomic bombing of Hiroshima. The devastating impact of that fateful day, August 6, 1945, continues to resonate today, with tens of thousands still bearing the scars of the tragedy. On that sunny Monday morning, life in Hiroshima was brutally disrupted when the little boy atomic bomb, with a power dwarfed by modern nuclear arsenals, was dropped from a clear sky, killing an estimated 140,000 people by year's end, forever etching 8:15 a.m. in history as a reminder of the horrors of nuclear war. This is the reason why a watch found in Hiroshima, which stopped at 8:15, the exact moment the atomic bomb exploded, caught the attention of millions of people. This rare artifact, a poignant reminder of the catastrophic event, was found amidst the destruction caused by the first atomic bomb. Despite its melted appearance, the watch's hands remained steadfast, suspended in time. According to RR Auction, the watch was retrieved by a British soldier on a humanitarian mission to provide emergency aid in the aftermath of the bombing. The watch was later auctioned alongside other historical items, offering a unique glimpse into the tragic events of that fateful day. Number 13, the Enigma Machine. The Enigma Machine, a legendary encryption device wielded by the Germans during the Second World War, was the ultimate symbol of cryptographic superiority. Its intricate mechanisms and complex settings enabled an astonishing number of encoding possibilities, billions upon billions. making it seemingly impossible for rival nations to decipher the coded messages. For a time, the Enigma code appeared unbreakable, a formidable barrier shielding German military communications from prying eyes. However, the genius of Alan Turing and his team of researchers would eventually unravel the Enigma's secrets. By exploiting subtle weaknesses in the code's implementation and gaining access to coveted German codebooks, they devised a revolutionary machine known as the bomb. This ingenious device enabled the Allies to crack even the most resilient Enigma codes, thereby gaining a profound strategic advantage. Many historians regard the cracking of Enigma as the most significant triumph of the Allied powers during World War II. By deciphering German communications, the Allies were able to anticipate and prevent numerous attacks, saving countless lives and altering the course of the war. Yet, in a remarkable display of strategic restraint, the Allies were forced to permit some attacks to unfold, lest the Nazis suspect that their communications had been compromised. This delicate balancing act allowed the Allies to maintain their edge while avoiding the risk of tipping off their enemies. Number 12. 8 British Hurricane fighter planes found in Ukraine. A lost Nazi tank has been dragged from its watery grave after nearly 80 years, revealing the only surviving Panzer of its kind in the world. For decades, local legends said that the Nazis lost several tanks retreating across the Czarna Nita River near Bieleki Młyny, southern Poland, in 1945. The legends were proved true when 2 incomplete Panzers were dragged from the river in 1990 and 2003, respectively. But still, the story said there was another. Now that vehicle has been found too, with history buffs unearthing a unique Panzer, a tank that tows tanks, which may be the last of its kind, and the vehicle could be worth a fortune. The Panzer was introduced in 1943 because of the difficulties faced by the Nazis recovering lost tanks. Up to that point, they'd struggled to recover their Panzers with trucks, and other tanks were banned from helping lest both vehicles should be lost. The Panzer, however, boasted a winch capable of pulling even heavier tanks and sufficient armor to allow it to operate under fire. Local historian Konrad Maj said there were 5 such Panzers stationed in the area from late 1944, where the Nazis' 16th Armored Division was awaiting a Soviet attack. But by mid-January 1945, the Germans found themselves surrounded, and in the rush to retreat, some tried to cross the Czarna Nita without finding a bridge. Number 11. The Soviet secret atomic bomb. Under the shroud of secrecy, the Soviet atomic bomb project was born, a classified research and development endeavor authorized by Joseph Stalin to harness the power of nuclear weapons during the tumultuous years of World War II and beyond. Although Soviet scientists had pondered the possibility of an atomic bomb throughout the 1930s, even proposing a concrete plan in 1940, the program lay dormant until Nazi Germany's invasion of the Soviet Union in 1941. This pivotal moment galvanized Stalin's resolve, and the project was catapulted to the forefront of Soviet priorities. Following the devastating atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Stalin's determination intensified, and the program was pursued with unrelenting fervor. Through cunning intelligence gathering, the Soviets tapped into the German nuclear weapon project and the American Manhattan Project, accelerating their own research and development with remarkable speed and agility. This marked the beginning of the Soviet Union's ascent as a nuclear superpower, forever altering the global landscape. In a bold move, the Soviet Union bolstered its nuclear ambitions by recruiting captured German scientists and leveraging intelligence gathered by spies. This strategic combination of expertise and espionage culminated in a groundbreaking achievement: the successful detonation of their first nuclear weapon on August 29, 1949, at the secretive Semipalatinsk 21 test site in Kazakhstan. Stalin, alongside Soviet officials and scientists, rejoiced at this triumph, marking a pivotal moment in the nuclear arms race. The Soviet Union's emergence as a nuclear power sent shockwaves throughout the Western world, particularly in the United States, plunging the region into an unprecedented era of unease. From 1949 onwards, the Soviets embarked on a large-scale nuclear weapons manufacturing and testing program, shrouded in secrecy. During the Cold War, the Soviet Union established a network of at least 9 clandestine cities, dubbed Atomgrad, where nuclear research and development thrived. These closed cities remained off-limits to the public, with cryptic code names masking their true purpose. Following the Soviet Union's dissolution, the cities shed their original names, adopting more innocuous designations, but remain restricted to this day, with limited access granted to foreign visitors possessing special permits. Number 10. The rediscovery of the German submarine, U-550. Deep beneath the waves, a secret lay hidden for nearly 7 decades. German submarine U-550, a formidable World War II U-boat, had slipped silently into the darkness, its fate a mystery. Built in Hamburg's Deutsche Werft shipyard in 1942, the vessel had played its part in the war before vanishing. But on July 23, 2012, a team of intrepid divers, led by the indefatigable Joe Mazzarani, stumbled upon the long-lost wreck off the Massachusetts coast. Using side-scan sonar, they uncovered the U-550's final resting place, 300 feet beneath the surface, 81 miles south of Nantucket. The discovery marked the culmination of a years-long quest, and a testament to the enduring allure of the deep. The fate of the German submarine, U-550, is a tale of daring and deception, played out in the dark depths of the ocean. On April 16, 1944, south of Nantucket Island, the U-boat struck gold, targeting the convoy Cu-21, bound for Great Britain from New York City. The SS Pennsylvania, a behemoth tanker, had lagged behind the convoy, making it an easy prey for the U-550's torpedoes. As the tanker erupted in flames and began its descent into the abyss, the U-550 dove beneath its hull, seeking refuge from the impending counterattack by the convoy's escorts. But all to no avail, the U-550 succumbed to the crushing pressure of the deep, its steel hull buckling as it submerged into the dark, icy waters of the sea, slipping silently beneath the surface, lost to the ages. Number 9. The Nazi Gold Train. A decades-old enigma continues to fascinate treasure hunters and historians alike. The Nazi Gold Train. This fabled locomotive, said to be laden with a treasure trove of gold, precious artwork, and priceless valuables, was allegedly hidden away by fleeing Nazis in the dying days of World War II. According to the myth, the train was secreted in a sealed rail tunnel or mine in the central Sudets, waiting to be discovered. Despite numerous expeditions and searches since 1945, including those conducted by the Polish Army during the Cold War era, not a single shred of evidence has been unearthed to confirm the train's existence. Historians dismiss the tale as mere fantasy, yet many remain convinced that the Nazi Gold Train remains hidden, its treasures waiting to be unearthed by a determined sleuth. However, in 2015, a sensational claim sent shockwaves around the globe. Piotr Koper and Andreas Richter announced they had pinpointed the elusive Nazi Gold Train using ground-penetrating radar. The duo described a 98-meter-long train comprising multiple carriages, allegedly packed with weapons and ammunition for the Nazi war machine. The revelation sparked a high-stakes treasure hunt, drawing in the Polish military, state officials, and private investors. But the excitement was short-lived as excavations ground to a halt when the suspected anomaly turned out to be a natural geological formation. Undeterred, a group of enthusiasts seized the opportunity to bring the legend to life. They built a full-scale replica of a Nazi armored train, hoping to turn it into a tourist magnet. Though the original train remains lost, its allure continues to captivate the imagination of many. Number 8. The carrier pigeon of the Nazi. In an astonishing discovery, a cryptic message from World War II has been unearthed in the most unlikely of places. Attached to the skeleton of a carrier pigeon, found lodged in an English chimney. The remarkable find was made by David Martin, a homeowner in Bletchingley, Surrey, as he was renovating his fireplace. Martin described the discovery as unbelievable, and for good reason. The pigeon's message may hold secrets from one of history's most pivotal moments. Theories abound about the pigeon's final journey. Some believe it was flying from behind enemy lines, perhaps from Nazi-occupied France during the D-Day invasions, and was headed toward Bletchley Park. Britain's main decryption hub during the war. Others suggest the bird simply got lost, disoriented in bad weather, or exhausted after its treacherous trip across the English Channel and sought refuge in Martin's Chimney. The use of carrier pigeons during World War II was a crucial aspect of military communication, with over 250,000 birds employed in the National Pigeon Service. These feathered messengers played a vital role in transporting top-secret messages, often in treacherous conditions. Government codebreakers are now working tirelessly to decipher the message found in Martin's Chimney. So far, they have determined that the message is from Sergeant William Stott and dates back an incredible 70 years. Number 7, V-2, the pioneering missile that changed the face of warfare. Amidst the turmoil of World War II, a revolutionary rocket emerged from the shadows of Nazi Germany's secret weapons program, the V-2. Born from the codename Aggregate 4, this liquid propellant marvel was the world's first large-scale rocket vehicle, pioneering the era of long-range ballistic missiles and sowing the seeds for modern launch vehicles. Dubbed Vengeance Weapon 2 by the Nazi propaganda ministry, the V-2 was a harbinger of terror unleashed upon the world in November 1944. Launched from mobile platforms, this formidable missile boasted a range of approximately 320 kilometers and a devastating one-ton warhead. However, the V-2's development came at a steep price: the lives of at least 10,000 concentration camp workers who toiled in brutal conditions to bring this weapon to fruition. With unprecedented speed and stealth, the V-2 rocket descended upon its targets, shattering the silence with a deafening crash. Its supersonic arrival announced only after impact. The devastating payload, a one-ton high-explosive warhead, left a permanent mark, shattering windows, toppling walls, and carving a massive crater into the urban landscape. This pioneering weapon heralded a new era of warfare, characterized by swift and unexpected destruction. The V-2's legacy extends far beyond its wartime origins, as every long-range ballistic missile developed since 1944 has built upon its groundbreaking foundations. Moreover, the technology that enabled the Nazis to strike fear into the hearts of Paris and London would paradoxically also propel humanity's greatest achievement, landing the first men on the moon in July 1969. However, the Nazis' ambitions were nearly derailed when the Royal Air Force launched a major bombing raid on Peenemünde, suspecting it was the hub of rocket production. Although the raid was only partially successful, it forced the Nazi regime to relocate their top priority project to the underground Mittelwerk factory nestled in the Harz Mountains at Nordhausen, safeguarding it from further Allied attacks. Number 6, Siam-Burma Railway. Deep in the heart of Southeast Asia lies a haunting testament to the brutality of war: the infamous Burma Railway, also known as the Death Railway. This 415-kilometer stretch of iron and steel, built between 1940 and 1943, connects Bon Pong, Thailand, to Tan Buzayat, Myanmar, and holds a dark history of forced labor, suffering, and death. The Japanese Empire's relentless pursuit of expansion during the Second World War drove the construction of this railway, fueled by the sweat and blood of over 250,000 Southeast Asian civilians and 12,000 Allied soldiers who toiled in inhumane conditions. The true horror of the Death Railway lies in its staggering death toll: an estimated 345,000 lives lost, with mortality rates rivaling those of the notorious Auschwitz concentration camp. The workers, comprising Tamils, Malays, Chinese, and other civilians from Malaya, were subjected to unimaginable hardships, their bodies worn down by the unforgiving jungle environment and the relentless demands of their captors. Today, only a haunting reminder of the railway remains: a 130-kilometer stretch in Thailand, still in operation, with trains still running as far north as Nam Tak. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick. As we explore the captivating history of World War II, a startling discovery emerges. In eastern Germany, a construction crew has unearthed the remains of at least 21 Soviet Red Army soldiers, 72 years after the war's conclusion. The finding was made in Seelow, a town just outside Berlin, during a bike path construction project. Joachim Kozlowski, from the Volksbund charity, which cares for war graves, suspects more remains may be hidden. Experts will now work to identify the soldiers who likely died in the fierce final battles for Berlin. What stories did these soldiers take to their graves? What other secrets from World War II remain hidden? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Now let's get back to our video. Number 5. The balloon bomb. Our next discovery was a dud, a discovery that failed to deliver on its promise. Despite high hopes and anticipation, it turned out to be a disappointing misfire. The Fugo, a balloon bomb that flew on Pacific winds, was a unique and terrifying weapon that Japan used against the United States during World War II. These hydrogen-filled paper orbs, carrying a deadly payload of incendiary devices and a high-explosive bomb, were swept across the ocean by the powerful jet stream, a high-altitude air current. With a sophisticated sandbag ballast system to keep them aloft, the uncontrolled balloons drifted menacingly towards North America. In a bid to spark chaos and destruction, the Imperial Japanese Army unleashed a barrage of 9,300 balloon bombs between November 1944 and April 1945, launching them from coastal Honshu towards North America. The sinister plan aimed to ignite massive forest fires and sow widespread panic. The scheme was unsuccessful due to wet and damp weather conditions, which prevented the bombs from igniting fires. By mid-April 1945, Japan's resources were depleted, with paper and hydrogen scarce, and the Army lacked concrete evidence that their balloons were even reaching their target, let alone causing damage. When Japan surrendered on August 15, 1945, all documents related to the Fugo program were deliberately destroyed in accordance with a directive issued on that same day, erasing the official record of this secret weapon. Remnants of these balloon bombs have been found in North America over the years, including recent discoveries in 2014 and 2019. Many museums in the US and Canada now hold fragments of these mysterious balloons, serving as a reminder of the innovative and sinister tactics used during the war. Number 4. The Nazis' colossal underground fortress. Hidden beneath the ancient Owl Mountains of Poland, Project Razed stands as a testament to one of the world's largest and most ambitious military enterprises of World War II. This massive underground tunnel system was designed and constructed by the Nazis between 1943 and 1945, with walls reinforced by steel and concrete to endure the ravages of time. However, as the war neared its end, the Nazis abandoned the project, leaving it unfinished. The legend of Project Razed begins with the Germans' desperate search for a secure location to shield themselves from relentless Allied bombings. After evaluating various sites, the Owl Mountains emerged as the ideal fortress due to their hard rock composition, offering unparalleled protection against air raids. The construction of this colossal underground labyrinth was carried out by forced laborers, prisoners of war, and concentration camp inmates, many of whom perished due to disease and malnutrition. Despite its grim history, Project Razed remains a fascinating and eerie relic of wartime engineering, shrouded in mystery and intrigue. Number 3. Bluey East 2 Airstrip. After World War II, many military air bases in Greenland were deserted, with all their materials left behind. The abandoned Bluey East 2 military airbase is a notable example, with its remnants including thousands of empty fuel drums, stacks of twisted metal, and rusting vehicles, a testament to the site's former life as a bustling hub of military activity. In 2019, a major rehabilitation effort began for the area. A total of 33,786 old barrels were found, though it is believed this is an underestimate due to various factors. Between 2019 and 2022, over half of these barrels were removed from the area. Bluey East 2, located on Greenland's east coast along the Ikatek Channel, is shrouded in mystery. A three-dimensional documentation of the site revealed intriguing artifacts, including 80-year-old trucks with inflated tires and fitted snow chains. This base is just one of more than 30 abandoned U.S. military installations in Greenland, dating back to World War II and the Cold War. For the people of Greenland, these decaying bases are a bitter reminder of agreements made without their consent. Greenland didn't gain partial autonomy from Denmark until 1979, and they pose potential hazards to their way of life. Many Greenlanders rely on hunting and fishing, and the extent of pollution remains unknown, posing a threat to their environment and health. Number 2. British Hurricane Fighter Plane. In a stunning discovery, the rusting remains of 8 British Hurricane fighter planes from World War II have been unearthed in a Ukrainian forest. These aircraft were part of a significant military aid package sent by Britain to the Soviet Union after Nazi Germany's invasion in 1941. The aid, funded by the United States under the Lend-Lease scheme, mirrors similar legislation today that supports Ukraine against Russian forces. Aviation experts are astounded by this find, marking the first time so many hurricanes have been discovered in Ukraine. Between 1941 and 1944, around 3,000 hurricanes were dispatched to aid the Soviet war effort. Most were destroyed in combat or dismantled for parts, but some were deliberately broken up and buried to avoid repayment to the United States, as the Soviet Union was obligated to pay for any intact donated military equipment after the war. The 8 hurricanes found south of Kyiv, now the capital of independent Ukraine, were buried in woodland after their obsolescence post-war. Initially, several Royal Air Force Hurricane squadrons were deployed to the Arctic to assist the Soviet Union, but the planes were eventually handed over to Soviet airmen, who found them underpowered, underarmed, and underprotected. By the end of the war, these aircraft were mainly relegated to air defense roles, protecting crucial transport hubs such as railway stations and junctions. Today, only 14 restored hurricanes are believed to be airworthy worldwide, making this discovery an extraordinary link to a bygone era of aviation history. Number 1. The Nazis' secret art looting operations. The Nazis' unrelenting greed reached unprecedented heights during their reign of terror, as they systematically plundered Europe's treasures on an industrial scale. The Nazi plunder, a meticulously organized campaign of looting, ravaged European countries, with Jewish property being a primary target from as early as 1933, in a brutal precursor to the Holocaust. Under the guise of protecting art, the Nazis deployed Kunstschutz units to seize priceless cultural artifacts, including masterpieces by iconic artists like Van Gogh, Picasso, and Chagall, alongside gold, silver, currency, and other precious items. This insatiable appetite for plunder led to the theft of irreplaceable cultural treasures, leaving a lasting scar on the world's cultural heritage. In the aftermath of World War II, the Allies' Monuments, Fine Arts, and Archives program, famously known as the Monuments Men, successfully recovered numerous artworks pilfered by the Nazis. However, many pieces remain unaccounted for, either still missing or returned to their countries of origin, but not to their rightful owners. Ongoing international efforts aim to identify and repatriate these stolen treasures, with the ultimate goal of reuniting them with their original owners, their descendants, or their countries of origin. The staggering scale of Nazi looting is revealed in the fact that approximately 20% of Europe's art was stolen, leaving over 100,000 items still to be returned to their rightful owners. Among the treasures still shrouded in mystery are the humble yet precious everyday objects, delicate china, sparkling crystal, and sterling silver, torn from their rightful owners' lives. The ripple effects of this widespread looting still linger, as tens of thousands of artworks remain lost, their whereabouts unknown, a haunting reminder of the devastating impact of Nazi greed on Europe's cultural heritage. Thanks for watching. See you in our next video.